US President Donald Trump's tariff regime may have left a lot of losers, from small, poor countries like Laos and Algeria to wealthy US trading partners like Canada and Switzerland. But what about American consumers who will see prices rise once the tariffs take hold? There is much to talk about. Let's get straight to our panel. Douglas Sloan is a Democratic strategist and a principal at the National Capital Strategy Group. Saurabh Gupta is a senior Asia-Pacific International Relations Policy Specialist with the Institute for China-America Studies. Also with us is Mary C. Curtis. She's a columnist for Roll Call and host of the Equal Time podcast. And Anthony Chan served as chief economist for JP Morgan Chase. Thanks, everyone, for being with us. Right. Douglas Sloan, Mary just mentioned the fact that President Trump fired the person who's responsible for issuing the country's labor numbers. That's after she issued a report that the administration felt was very disappointing as far as jobs were concerned. That is a risky business, firing a person who issues numbers like this. These are career civil servants who do that job. And this is how the former Treasury Secretary, Larry Summers, responded to what Trump did. Let's listen.
These numbers are put together by teams of literally hundreds of people following detailed procedures that are in manuals. There's no conceivable way that the head of the BLS could have manipulated this number. The numbers are in line with what we're seeing from all kinds of private sector sources. This is really scary stuff, and it can hardly be surprising that when the rule of law is a bit in question, that there's a big uncertainty premium in the markets that is operating to both make there be less investment, which slows the economy down, and also means there's less supply so that there's more inflationary pressure.
So, Douglas, the BLS that Larry Summers referred to there is the Bureau for Labor Statistics. Looking at this Trump action, what kind of consequence is it going to have? I mean, is it going to put a huge question mark over the credibility of numbers like, important numbers, vital numbers like this issued by the U.S. government?
Absolutely. Trump is essentially killing the messenger in this regard. And like the former speaker just said, the head of Bureau of Labor Statistics isn't the only one that controls these numbers. This is controlled by a team of many people that put these numbers together. The head of the BLS doesn't see these numbers until the very last minute, maybe like 12 hours before or less, that they are released. And, you know, Trump has a history of doing this. When he was president during COVID, he didn't like the COVID numbers. So what did he say? Stop testing people, you know, stop bringing these numbers forward. When I remember when there was a hurricane coming through, and he had said, oh, it's going to be a big danger, I think, to some of the states off the Gulf. And he drew with a little Sharpie. He extended the path of the hurricane to fit his narrative. When he wanted to attack Iran, and the assessment of his military advisors showed that there was not any effort to build a nuclear bomb in Iran. What did he do? He went and got another assessment from another list of military intelligence, more military intelligence. So he has a history of doing this. And yes, this can be a very bad outcome because as we've seen in other, and I say other, I was getting ready to say other authoritarian regimes. We're not an authoritarian regime, but this is the beginning of an authoritarian regime. In Turkey, in Venezuela, in Greece, when they put their sycophants in there to fudge these numbers, you end up with a recession. You end up with hyperinflation. The Fed bases their policies off these numbers. So this could be a very bad outcome for the United States in general. And, you know, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is the gold standard here. It would behoove us not to mess with our current formula, and that is exactly what Trump is doing.
Douglas, to Mary's point, how do Democrats fight back? I mean, how do they look at things like Trump firing the civil servant who is responsible for the jobs numbers, the fact that he keeps on saying that other countries will be paying for these tariffs? How do they use that?
Yeah, I'm at a loss as to how anyone is believing Trump at this point, saying that other countries will pay for these tariffs, and people are plainly aware at this stage in the game that no, it's going to be U.S. citizens that pay for the tariffs, just like Mexico was never going to pay for that wall, just like he wasn't able to end the war in Russia as soon as he got in office. The last speaker brought up a very good point. Mary brought up a very good point when she says all of this is undermining his credibility within his base. And we see it right now. Trump has a 37% approval rating and a 58% disapproval rating. I think that's the lowest in modern presidential history. All of these promises that have been broken are starting to come home to roost, and it really is coming together with this Epstein case, because a lot of the MAGA base, the strong, die-hard MAGA base, they really believed that the Epstein files were the panacea, open, a beautiful book of criminal indictments and convictions for Democratic candidates and past presidents and so on and so forth. Little did they know that Trump was on the list and good friends with Epstein. And now Trump is coming out and saying that the list doesn't exist. That's crazy. All of this is undermining his credibility. All of this is going towards essentially people not believing him no more. And so as a result, Democrats are pushing back. Gavin Newsom is coming out. Cory Booker is coming out. You saw the Democrats in Texas flee with the redistricting they're trying to do. Democrats are speaking out and pushing back. This is not the same Democratic Party that we saw in 2016. This is an aggressive party that is aggressively pushing back against Trump and all these lies. And I think that we will be very successful in the midterm elections next year.
Okay. That is where we have to leave it. Thanks to all of you for being with us. That's it for this edition of The Heat. I'm Anand Naidu in Washington.